They say silence can heal, but sometimes it screams louder than words. When my daughter told me I was a burden, I smiled, because I knew someday that word would echo back to her heart. I raised her with every ounce of love I had. I skipped meals so she could eat, worked nights so she could study. But as time passed, my care became an inconvenience. One morning, she looked at me and said those words no parent should ever hear. So, I quietly packed my things and left without saying goodbye. She didn't know that the silence I left behind would soon become the loudest sound in her life. It was a calm Sunday morning. The aroma of tea filled the air while I made breakfast. Just like every weekend, my daughter and her husband sat together, whispering, their voices low but sharp enough to pierce my heart. I caught pieces of their conversation. She's getting old. She meddles too much. We need space. When I entered the room, everything fell silent. My daughter avoided my eyes. Mom, she began softly, maybe it's time you find your own place. You deserve peace, some freedom. Peace, freedom. Such gentle words hiding such a cruel message. I smiled, though my heart trembled. You're right, dear, I whispered. That evening, she came into my room and said it words that carved into my soul forever. Mom, you've become a burden. I froze. The plate in my hand trembled. All the years of sacrifice forgotten in a breath. I didn't argue. I just smiled and said, if that's what you feel, I'll go. When I turned away, tears fell silently, the kind that burn your soul, not your eyes. That night, I couldn't sleep. The walls that once echoed with her laughter now felt cold. At dawn, I quietly packed my suitcase, 2 dresses, a photo of my late husband, and the locket my daughter gave me on her 10th birthday. She didn't stir when I closed the door behind me. Maybe she thought I wouldn't actually go. I took a bus to towns away and found a small, aging cottage. The floor creaked, the roof leaked, but it was mine. The silence was overwhelming. At first, I cried every night. I checked my phone again and again. No messages, no calls. The first week passed, then another. Still, nothing. So, I started writing letters to her, one every Sunday, but I never sent them. Each began with, Dear daughter, I hope you're happy. Each ended with, Love, Mom. I planted roses outside my little cottage. They were the only things that listened to my silence. Months passed, the air grew colder, and my hair grayer. I had learned to live with quiet, until one evening, a knock on the door. When I opened it, her husband stood there, pale, anxious, holding an envelope. Mom, he said softly, his voice cracking, she hasn't been the same since you left. He handed me the letter. My fingers trembled as I unfolded it. Mom, it read, I was wrong. I don't know what I was thinking. The house feels empty. The walls echo with your absence. I can't sleep. I can't eat. I hear your voice everywhere. Please, come back before it's too late. Tears blurred the words. I sat by the window, holding that letter against my chest. Silence had done what my words never could. It made her listen. That night, I lit a candle and whispered, maybe now, she understands. I returned one morning as the sun rose. My hands trembled as I knocked. She opened the door, and the moment she saw me, she collapsed into my arms, sobbing uncontrollably. Mom, I thought I lost you forever, she cried. Please forgive me. I didn't mean any of it. I stroked her hair and whispered, forgiveness isn't something you ask for, my dear. It's something love gives freely. We sat together for hours. She made me tea, just like I used to make for her. Her eyes were swollen, her voice shaky, but her heart was open again. Since that day, she calls me every morning. Sometimes she doesn't say much, just, good morning, Mom, and that's enough. The same house that once echoed with cold silence now hums with laughter, warmth, and love reborn. Because sometimes, losing someone for a while is the only way to realize their true worth. They say, words can wound, but silence can heal deeper. This wasn't revenge. It was love, waiting for realization. Never take your parents for granted, because one day, their silence might be the lesson your heart needs most.